Now, one part of this garden that changes all the year round is the lime walk. It was one of the very first bits that we made. And then I prune the limes in spring, which delays the growth, and it means that right into May and even June, there's still plenty of light coming into it. And that gives an opportunity to grow spring flowers. And we've always had tulips in here. Now, I love tulips. I love everything about them. They're probably the most voluptuous of all flowers. And also, they bring to spring that first flush of really intense colour. They have a silky vibrancy that almost no other flower has, and certainly no other at that time of year. Now, in fact, here in the lime walk, I'm planting white tulips. Now, last year I planted some Nicholas Hayek, which is a new tulip on me, lovely ivory, pale yellow. And some of that will stay in there, but I'm going to top up with white triumphator. And that's a tall, simple tulip with perfect white flowers that last for weeks and weeks. So next year, I get the mixture of the two. Now, tulips aren't cheap, so if you can buy them in bulk, they'll be a lot better value. And what you're looking for, however you get them, is a nice, healthy bulb. Firm, no sign of mold, and looking fresh. And a tip to get them looking reasonably natural is to put the same number in each bay, but don't try and plant them uniformly. Just squeeze them in between the plants. In this case, it's the wallflowers and Alchemilla moris. Okay, now they're spaced out, and I would do the whole lot. I'd lay them all out on the ground before I planted the first one. Now, there's a big debate about the best way to plant tulips. You can either treat them as annuals, in which case you might as well just bury them under the soil, and they'll do fine, and they'll like the topsoil and feed well from it. Or you can treat them as a perennial, coming back year after year. That's tricky. You can only do that if you have really good drainage, if they get a good summer baking, and even then, it doesn't always work. But if you want them to come back year on year, you must plant them deep. And that means at least 4 inches, and if possible, 6 inches under the ground. Now, to do that, a bulb planter is a real help. This is perfect for tulips, the right size. So I take out a plug, and that's the start, but it's not really deep enough. So I want to work that out, get in there, and you can see already it's a bit of a fiddle, and then get them in the ground. And that goes in, and it's covered over. Now that's fine, and on sandy soil, not too difficult. But over the years, I've come to the conclusion that it's best to treat tulips as an annual. And if they flower again the following year, that's a bonus. That way you get a really good display every year, and then you can top it up as the years go by. And planting them is dead easy. Simply with a trowel, loosen the soil, pop them in. That's it. And it does mean that you can get a lot in the ground pretty quickly. Now, like all the jobs that we're doing in the garden at this time of year, I shan't see the effects of this for months, but it's guaranteed to make the garden look all the better next spring.